Final media project. Topic 1, learning disabilities. Characteristics of learning disabilities. Characteristics, typically there aren't a typical set of characteristics for somebody who has learning disabilities. They have all different weaknesses and strengths within learning disabilities. Most commonly, they all have a low academic achievement. UDL, you could use organizers within your classroom for universal design. This can help process new material and become more active learners. And differential and structural, there are several ways we can be used to students with LD. You can implement time delays, reducing the number of problems. You could provide visual aids, you could provide prompting, and you could provide modeling or demonstrating the activity that you're learning. Topic 2, communication disorders. Communication disorders, the characteristics would be speech and language impairments. They have a problem with receiving information and understanding the information and giving responses. The UDL within this, what assist the students with communication disorders would be by you could use visual presentations, you can use graphs, organizations, and maybe instead of a written report, you could use a PowerPoint or taped oral reports. Within differentiated instruction, some things that could help would be graphics, the organizers, story webs, and AAC. Topic 3, emotional behavior disorders. Emotional disorders, they tend to have an inability to learn. They have an ability to build and maintain relationships. They have inappropriate behaviors. They could be depressed. They could have physical symptoms of fear. So within the UDL, you could use technology. Technology for students with EBD could be helpful to track data. It also allows the students themselves to learn to do things for themselves when somebody else always used to do things for them. Within differentiated instruction, the 2 rules would be you begin early and use all the resources that are available. Service learning strategies would be good. They help to learn important skills to contribute to the society. They also need to acquire conflict resolution skills like decision making, negotiating, compromising. All those skills help them succeed as an adult. Attention deficit disorder, attention deficit hyperactivity disorder. Characteristics, there's 2 types. They're inattentive. Some of those types are paying attention. They will lack keeping track of supplies. They could not listen when somebody's talking to them. They could have troubles finishing tasks, keeping their hands and their feet to themselves. Would be examples of hyper-impulsive type. That would be the hands and feet, staying seated, running, climbing, always talking excessively. Those would be some characteristics. The UDL, you need to supply some more organization, maybe some goal setting. This might help them learn more effectively if they have organization to where they knew how to learn the task, how to keep organized, goals, and some of the goals could help motivate them to stay on task. DI would be range from behavior management, errorless learning, and some self-modeling videos, of course, applying modifications to the students who need maybe a quiet space or need to get up and move and roam around. Topic 5, intellectual disabilities. They have limitations in intellectual functioning. They have limitations in intellectual functioning. They also have limitations for adaptive behavior. The UDL would be applying an e-reader so that the text could be read to them. Differentiated instructions would be verbal prompts to improve language. Maybe some self-determination where they can apply information within the middle school age of their preferences, their design, for them to design a plan and ways for them to help self-monitor their progress. Autism. Autism, some characteristics are low social skills. They have, they could be nonverbal. They could have repetitive behaviors. They could be aggressive. They could have sensory, low social skills. Some UDL would be applying modifications. Modifications could be different strategies used within the universal design of like self-directing. We could also use, in the differentiated instruction, we could apply ABA therapy, a lot of discrete trial training. You could use natural environment for that, where you are presenting the curriculum within their home, their community, their daycare, and their natural environment versus going to a facility that's not where they typically would be every day. They could also apply sensory processing, like motor planning, and you can also do social stories to help with the social skills. 7, multiple disabilities. Multiple disabilities have specific, there is no really specific characteristics. They can have intellectual, multiple disabilities have specific characteristics related to their intellectual functioning, adaptive skills, motor development, sensory function, and communication skills. UDL could be promoting devices that run on smartphones or iPads. They could provide digital pictures or shows. There's something that shows what is being taught. Differentiated instructions would be integrations where you can apply peer models. You could do task analysis, and pretty much all of the learning strategies that we learned within the chapters, because they're multiple disabilities, so then they would all fall within whatever realm of what disability that child has. We have next physical disabilities. Characteristics of a physical disability could be anybody who has mobility limitations. Anybody with health impairments might be an individual who is having limited strength, vitality, or alertness. It could be due to chronic acute health problems like asthma, ADHD, diabetes. Any of those kind of conditions is considered under other health impairments. UDL designs, you could use simple e-text options. This can allow students to, with physical disabilities and other disabilities, to have access to general education content. DI would be, you could use a token economy system. These tend to work with promoting positive reinforcement. Traumatic brain injury, that is characteristics of, let's see, they probably characteristics would be communication disorders and emotional behavior and intellectual disability. Depending on the type of traumatic brain disorder, any of those could fall within the characteristics of TBI. UDL, instructional pacing, frequent student, longer student responses, which would maybe be like a processing time, and maybe frequent feedback on the information they're giving or receiving. DI, you could use some teaming strategies where you have collaborative teaming, which can promote inclusive practices and learning skills. You could do multiple choice questions or true or false questions, and those would all help individuals with TBI. Hearing and vision. Hearing and vision impairments usually go, characteristics are, let's see, hearing would be difficulties in speaking, reading, writing. Vision would be, of course, limited ability to learn from their environment. Some of the UDLs on both of them would be implementing a speech pathologist for hearing, and for an individual who has visual, maybe we need to focus on daily living skills, the orientation, mobility, and self-determination. For DI, we should probably provide a language-rich environment by labeling. And for DI, for the visual, we need to do TFIs, where it adapts materials to help ensure that students have access to the information that they're learning. We have the gifted. Gifted or high intellect, specific academic aptitude. They have the ability for leadership. They can have performing. They have the ability and visual and performing artistry, but they can also have, they can also occur with a disability, an individual who is gifted. UDL, you could do a curriculum extension, just expand on the information or the curriculum that is being taught. For DI, enrichment strategies, so we need to add instruction, make it more challenging, and provide the small groups with peers. Some ways that we can include other students or all students in UDL. All students with UDL would be just by providing inclusive, keeping students with disabilities involved with the peers, improves the social skills, but by also using UDL in a classroom helps teachers learn all students' learning styles and to provide appropriate curriculum with or without modifications or accommodations. So applying inclusive classrooms to people with disabilities